If you want to listen to this episode or any of our episodes ad-free, you can do that now. Head on over to Patreon. Click on the ad-free level. You get all of our bonus shows that you've been hearing so much about. Plus, every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you can listen to this episode or any of our other episodes at the same time, ad-free, over on Patreon. Welcome back to our part 2 sit down with Miss Megan Weaver, Catalina from Flipping Out. And if you haven't heard part 1, we talk all about the show, the early days, how she met Jeff Lewis, the height of the show, Zoila, Jenni, Gage. And now we get into some more of all of that. And we talk all about her housewife friends. And her and Jeff were on All In by Teddi. So we also kind of do a deep dive on Teddi's diet program. So stay tuned for part 2. And if you haven't heard part 1, it was just last week. Check it out. It'll make a lot more sense. And now part 2 about all things Flipping Out and Jeff Lewis and Housewives and Teddi's program with the one and only Miss Megan Weaver, Catalina. What about Teddi? Because, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, like, I know that Ron, like her program came under all this.
It did. Yeah, it came under attack.
It did. How was the program?
Well, Jeff and I talked about this on Jeff Lewis Live last week, I think. Listen, when you start the program and the program's called All In, when you start the program, there is no secret about it being a tough program, and they let you know that, if this is hard, and if you're not up for it, you're not ready for the challenge, I suggest you don't do it. But if you're up for it and you're ready for the challenge and to really, get your body, going, then do it. So, I'm not going to say it wasn't hard. It was a very difficult program, but it was very successful. I lost a lot of weight. Jeff lost a lot of weight. We had a great time laughing about, being hungry and how much cardio we did. And ultimately, I kept going. Jeff did the initial 2 weeks, and then I stayed with the program. And, look, my experience was positive. I really liked my coach. I didn't feel, very bullied. They have to, whip you into shape a little bit. If you're, if it looks like you're falling off or you're not sticking to the program, that's what accountability is. And so I'll say it was very effective and it worked for me. And I liked my coach and I liked Teddi very much. So, people have different experiences with different, different things. So
you didn't feel like you were eating like 200 calories a day or whatever.
No. I mean, look, your calories are restricted on the diet, but there's a lot of people who do these fasts. The Prolon fast is really popular. The 5-2 program there's millions of books about it. On those 2 days, you're eating 500 calories. So you know what I mean? Like, why is her program, because it's calorie restrictive, under attack, and all of these other programs aren't? It's kind of, I think there's something about the celebrity and the housewife that has something to do with the attacks.
Well, I was just going to say, probably because she's on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
So she's a target. So yeah, my experience was different. I lost a lot of weight and I felt really, really good. I eventually gained it back, and now I'm doing my own program. But no, I had a great experience.
It's hard in quarantine. It's hard.
Oh my God. I'm happy to say that I have this little app on my phone. It's called MyFitnessPal. I love it because you put everything in that you eat and your exercise. And I looked at my weight. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I looked at my weight from May of this year. It was up there. I'm down 9 or 10 pounds from there, thank God. But mama was eating and drinking like the cows were coming home.
I feel the same way. I feel like from March to May was not, I don't know who I thought I was.
Yeah, and what right did you have to eat all that and drink all that?
Well, here's the thing, right? Like anybody that says, I mean, this is just my thing. Anyone that's like, I don't know how I gained this weight. I don't understand that. I know exactly how it happened.
Me too.
I know exactly when it was happening. I just was like, I don't want to stop eating.
I don't care. I was popping bottles. You know what I mean? I was popping bottles by the pool we were laughing about this the other day. It started at 5, then it went down to 4, then 3:30, and then when I realized things were looking bad for me, it was 2:00. And I was like, I could have a rosé. I'm like, this isn't a vacation. You're not at the Ritz. You know,
Right.
You're in your home. You should not be having a rosé at 2:00 in the afternoon by the pool doing your work.
Totally.
Yeah.
So what about Jenni? You know,
Yeah.
do you feel like, tell me about that?
Well, unfortunately, that relationship between Jeff and Jenni ended horribly. You know, I was there when it was unraveling on camera, and it was a very uncomfortable spot to be in, and sad, very sad. You know, I felt for her. I felt for him and his frustration, and I think that was just something that had been bubbling up for maybe some time on both of their ends, and then it came to that, that head that was, that was coming down the pike. Look, I tried to stay neutral. I saw both sides. I sympathized with Jenni, how, he was horrible to her, in that car ride with Leah Black. And, it was just nasty, and it broke my heart. Sadly, I tried to remain neutral, but it didn't end up working out between Jenni and I, just because, I work with Jeff. I was still doing design for him, and, he's my boss, and he was my boss on many different levels, and now he's my boss again on the radio show. So it was hard for her. I can't speak for her, but what I imagine, it was hard for her to maintain a friendship with me because of my closeness to Jeff. And, I hope that one day they can, mend that fence, build that bridge, however you want to call it. And that maybe this is just some time that they need apart. And that's my wish. I love her. She was so much fun. They had such a great relationship. One can only hope that somehow gets back in time.
Do you think it will? I mean,
I really thought that it wouldn't be this long before a makeup. It seems that as time goes on, the further and further they become apart. I don't know. Look, stranger things have happened. I think that maybe, after some more time, they can, have like a meetup. I don't know that they're going to be the bestest buds that they were before, but it would be nice if they could just, heal wounds,
I think so. And didn't Jeff reach out to her at the beginning of this year?
He did. Yes, he did. He apologized for his role in the way things ended, and she did not get back to him. I would imagine that she probably, I don't know, but what if she blocked him? Like, what if, his number didn't come? I get, if you block somebody, you can't get their voicemails or their texts, and it just goes into the ether maybe. But he did reach out. I think he was feeling badly, and he wanted to, close that chapter and, move on with their lives.
I hope so. I hope they get.
I know. I do too.
I'm just all about everybody getting along.
I know. I was, I was the peacekeeper. I was trying to keep the peace, and you can only do what you can do.
What is Leah Black like as a friend or hangout buddy?
She is so funny. She is a hoot. She's always got something going on. She's always busy. It's either, a fundraiser, her skincare line's really great. We love the CBD eye cream. She's just a ball of energy. Her laugh, she's got this cackling laugh that is infectious. She's just a lot. She's a lot, but she's a lot of fun, and she makes you laugh constantly. She's great. I wish they would bring back that Miami show, because that was so much fun. Were you a fan of Housewives of Miami?
And I'm friends with some of them in real life. I think it's gone. I think it's gone before its time. I think so too. I don't know why it didn't really work. It doesn't make sense to me. Because Miami's such an interesting setting. I think, I don't know.
I loved watching the backdrop, the location, the houses, the diamonds, the bags. I mean, it was all so opulent. That's kind of what the Housewives brand is watching their lifestyle, and just the jets and the mansions. And there's nothing like that on the franchise right now. I know Salt Lake City's starting up, but Miami is just so fun to watch.
I think it's going to be, and Leah just, I don't know, she was great on that show.
She was amazing. And she's, I haven't seen her, since quarantine. She stayed in Miami. We haven't seen her. And she's
Wow.
usually quite a fixture around Jeff. She did a lot of guest hosting on his radio show, and they spent a lot of time together. So it's been quite a while since we've seen her.
What about Shannon Beador? I know that's one of Jeff's friends too.
She is. She's coming on the show next week. I think next week or the week after. Don't quote me, but she is coming on Jeff Lewis Live shortly. So that'll be fun.
How is she? Is she just a bunch of...
Yeah, she's a good time. She's a good time. We did before quarantine, we were doing these Jeff Lewis live shows in different parts of the country. We did Arizona and in California, and we did one in Fresno when she was the guest, and we just had the best time. We had the best time. She's a hoot and a holler.
I love Shannon. I think the OC is going to be great.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. What about Gage? Are you shocked that Jeff and Gage didn't work out? I mean, you were there.
I was shocked. When Jeff first told me when they first broke up, how long ago was that? A year or two? I can't even remember. I can't even keep track.
I would have said even longer, but I swear time like...
No, it had to be a couple years ago because he was with Scott for quite a while. So when he first told me, I was in complete shock. I really didn't see it coming. I thought that they'd be together forever. I knew that they had bickered and, but doesn't everybody, So it was a complete shock to me. I was floored, blindsided, really sad. It broke my heart.
And you were in it, like you knew them both.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Gage, we fought like brother and sister. He felt like a brother to me, we fought a lot. And, you would think that the way we fought and how much, we had a lot of love for each other. We also had just a lot of like annoyance with each other. So you would think that I would have been like, oh, now Jeff's free and we get him all to ourselves. And, but I was heartbroken. I cried, it really threw me for a loop when they broke up.
It's kind of like is it true that Jenni fixed them up? That's what someone told me.
I think it is. Yeah. I think that is true. Yeah.
Someone told me, I mean, I don't know if it's true. Someone told me that.
True. I'm 99% sure that she was instrumental in them getting together. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But they have Monroe, so that's the bright spot,
little
right?
Monroe, who is a piece of work. She's amazing. So that's a great outcome of that relationship.
Are you Aunt Megan?
Oh, what?
Are you Aunt Megan?
Oh, I thought you said my aunt.
No.
Yes, I am Aunt Megan. He does call me Aunt Megan. Yes, Auntie Megan.
Does she come to the office too?
Well, the office is in his house.
I know.
So she's always around. Sometimes during radio, she'll say she wants to do radio with us, and she'll sit at the round table and pretend like she's doing radio. She's adorable. So
in addition to the radio, like your own design business, Megan Weaver Design, like you're doing a lot with that. So that's not I always wondered, this is no shade at all. I just never understood. So like, even though you have your own business and Jeff has Jeff Lewis Design, like that's just not, you just do both. You work with him.
Oh, so I don't work for Jeff Lewis Design anymore.
Okay.
I pretty much stopped working for him when the cameras went down on the last season and just focused on my own design business. The radio show has nothing to do with design.
Totally.
It's just about, a bunch of shark attacks and amputees and, it's a crazy show. But so I focused on my own design business and it couldn't be busier than it is right now.
Really?
So, yeah. Oh my God. And thanks to Jeff. So Jeff has been, incredibly generous in helping me build my business. He knows that, I'm a single mom with 2 kids and I'm a pretty good designer. He believes in me and my aesthetic. And so he's been referring me some work and I've gotten incredibly busy in the last few months. So I'm very grateful to him for that. And so, yeah, I've got Megan Weaver Design and it's booming.
That's good even through COVID.
Yeah, well, it's because of COVID, I think. I think people are sick of their houses. Either they want to get out and get something bigger and they want to remodel it, or they're in their current house and they want to add on, or, they're tired of the cooking in the same old, dated kitchen and can you come help? So yeah, it's actually a great time for, remodeling, building, etc.
Wow. Yeah, I have a lot of friends that shockingly are remodeling their houses. They're in New Jersey and like everyone's kind of, I guess just because you're home and you're looking at things and you're also kind of have time on your hands.
For sure. And when we were on lockdown, I was offering virtual consultations to people in different parts of the country. And that was a huge hit. And I still have a few people left over from that I'm still helping. But that was such a great idea. And people reached out, and I charged like a fraction of what I normally charge an hour. And people would send me pictures, and we'd have conference calls. And it was actually really, really great, because people are staring at that couch they can't stand anymore, and the rug, and
Yeah.
It's old when you're in it 24/7.
Does Jeff still do his design business, or he's just full-time with the radio?
He has, he's got his own houses that he's working on. The radio keeps him busy. He's got his tile line. He does, I think, have a couple clients. I'm not sure who he's finished with and who he hasn't. Like I said, we don't really talk about his design business very much.
It's all radio.
Yeah, but it's a lot radio, and then when he refers me people. But he's doing pretty good. He's also, he's busy with his custody battle with, Gage, so that takes up a lot of his time too.
That must not be fun.
No, it's not fun, and it's dragged on for a really long time, and it's very hard to watch. Something just drag on and on and on, when I feel like it could just be resolved, in a room, just talk it out, figure something out. And it's taking its sweet ass time, unfortunately.
And I'm sure, the fact that everything is more or less public doesn't help matters.
Yeah, that's not fun either. That's kind of icky when it gets reported in the press, the gory details, shall we say. Yeah.
Do you like Scott? Do you like Jeff's new man?
I love Scott. Oh my God. He is one of the world's best people. I mean, he's an angel. They're going through a little bit of I think Jeff's reported it, people.com's reported it. They're going through a little thing right now, but I'm hoping that, it's just a thing and that everything will be fine again. But, it's a weird time, and everyone's processing this in different ways, and it affects us all in different ways. And, relationships change and things get questioned. And it's just because we're in this freaking crazy world right now, and I'm hoping for some sort of, normalcy at some time in the near future, so we can all take a proverbial deep breath.
And too much time on anyone's, I don't know. I'm the type that I don't do well if I have if the wheels are turning too much, it's not a good thing for me. So I just think a lot of people, you're alone or whatever, and you just have a lot of time to
overanalyzing, overthinking, all of that, and it's just let's just live life,
Is Jeff just difficult to date?
I think he'd be difficult to date. And that's just because I couldn't leave my shoes wherever I wanted to leave them. He's pretty particular about certain things. And he's, he's watching the show. He likes things the way he likes them. And he's got his routine and his way of doing things. And, that would probably be pretty hard to conform to initially, right? And I'm just talking about the OCD stuff. But as a person and someone being in a relationship with him, I think he's got a big heart, and he's very generous, and he's very loving, and he's, I think that he would be a great person to date if you can get past the OCD stuff.
I don't know. I have a thing where I think I would like it. I like when, I don't know. I'm one of those people who I have friends I'm from New York. It just I have friends that are be there at this time, blah, blah, screaming. And then and I'm that's what I need. Otherwise it just, I don't know.
Yeah. I couldn't handle the neatness of everything. I'm a little looser.
You like to just relax in your own home.
Yeah, exactly.
How did those two meet?
Patty Stanger.
That's what I thought. What I thought.
Yeah, which isn't that funny?
That
again,
is funny.
Like I said, the Bravo family, they stay, it's like a glue.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Tell me about working on Lala and Randall's house.
Well, what happened was, I think Jeff, as you saw on the show, Jeff was working for them. They were his clients, and he finished his work there. And I think they just wanted some zhuzhing. They just needed some rugs and pillows, and I guess Randall called me Jeff's girl. Could you give me your girl's number? And so I started working for them. I was working with Lala. We picked out some great rugs and some great pillows. And at the same time, they had a contractor working on their house, doing some, additions and remodeling and this or that. and it didn't work out with him. And so they were kind of left in a lurch, and I came to the rescue, and I had a bunch of subcontractors, and they finished the work. And it was they got an incredible master bedroom and master bathroom. I posted some of the master bathroom pictures on my Instagram. Just real glam, beautiful. Lala was a delight to work with. We got along really well. And, you know, it didn't end, you know, with a lot of, you know, joy. But, you know, I wish them the best. I'm so excited for her and her big news, you know, her pregnancy. I really hope that, you know, they have a, you know, really healthy, gorgeous baby. And I know she wanted this really bad. So couldn't be happier for her.
Why did it end badly?
You know, I think so we were getting towards the end, and they were really happy, and there were a few things left on my list, but not many. And I just had a little bit of trouble with payment stuff. There was no explosion. I didn't get fired. Nobody got angry. It just was a little bit an accounting headache, shall we say. So I sort of just walked away, and we really haven't spoken since, sadly. But I wish them the best.
Well, apparently 50 Cent didn't get paid either. So
that's what I keep hearing. Yeah.
But, you know, that's, you know, at least you are busy enough that you can do that. So that's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it got to the point where, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. Let's just part ways, and, you know, no harm, no foul. Let's all just get on with our lives. There comes a point in life where you just have to let things go and move on and wish everybody well, and, you know, just on to the next thing.
Totally. You have such a positive attitude.
It's called reframing.
Seriously. No, I mean, I'm like that. I'm just like, looks, certain times people are great. You just weren't meant to work together for whatever reason.
That's exactly it. And what we did do together was beautiful, and I'm really proud of my work.
What's like the best piece of advice like Jeff ever, you know, like what did you learn from working with Jeff, like on the design side of things?
Well, you know, it's interesting because I've worked with him in so many different capacities. I mean, if you think about it, not only did I help him, you know, work with clients, but also we designed catalogs and showrooms, like for Living Spaces, Alder and Tweed. There were so many different levels of design work that I did with him that I learned so much from every single, you know, instance. You know, I think the biggest lesson, the big takeaway for me now, you know, not 7 years ago, right now, is to never doubt my worth. You know, there was a time where I was charging too little because I was afraid, you know, what if they think that's too much? No, you know, you're a damn good designer, and you have got a lot of credibility and a lot of, you know, wonderful designs, you know, behind you. And you do deserve your fee, and you do, you know, so it took a while for that to sink in, you know, and for Jeff to say, you know, you're worth it. You are worth it. And that was a come to Jesus moment for me, I think, which is, you know, you are a designer, and that costs something, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Did you personally work? I can't remember. Did you work on Brian Austin Green and Megan Fox's house?
You know, I went there early on, and then I think that was one of the times that I quit. not Brian and Megan, but Jeff. And then I think he continued. He was on the show, wasn't it? Yeah. And I never met Megan. I met Brian, and the house was incredible. I'm not sure whatever happened with that house. It's actually a very good question. But yeah, it's funny because Machine Gun Kelly lives across the street from Jeff.
Oh, really?
And they're dating.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Megan Fox, which is funny. And then
through I was going to say through Randall.
Randall's movie is where they met. So it's very like not even 1 degree of separation, 0 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Jeff, Randall, Machine Gun, and Megan Fox.
So does Machine Gun come over for nightly martinis?
I wish. He seems like a neat kid. No, I saw him this morning though. He came out of his house when I was walking into Jeff's. No, it would be great to have him on the show. I mean, they had sort of a neighborly feud, or more Jeff had more of a feud because of all the cars and all the parking. But they made up Machine Gun Kelly sent him a bottle of champagne on a skateboard with a note across the street, and they had this, you know, this cute little moment. It'd be great to have him on the show. I'm hoping that Jeff gets him on one day.
I think you should just go and knock on the door.
Right? I know. It's right there.
I mean, I don't know. Megan Fox, between Brian Austin Green and him, like, I mean, she's also drop dead gorgeous, but she's doing something right between those two. That's all I have to say.
I know. It seems like this is the one, though. I feel like this, I heard her and his name is Colson. It's weird to call him Machine Gun Kelly. His name is Colson. And they were on Randall and Lala's podcast not that long ago, and they seem like the real deal. I feel like they're like, they found each other, soulmates kind of a thing.
I kind of feel that way too.
Yeah. And there's, you know, yes, they've been, you know, flaunting it a little bit, but new love, right?
I feel bad for little David Silver.
I do too. I can't help but feel bad for him. I know when he posted that thing about the 4 boys and, you know, aren't they achingly gorgeous too, or something like that after she posted Olsen. I was like, oh, ouchie.
Do you see her like come and go? Like she's there?
I haven't
really?
seen her at all. From what I heard, I think they spend more time at her place than his place. He's got a lot of people there. So maybe they like their alone time. I don't know. I haven't seen her there.
Interesting. And isn't Jeff's house on the market now too? Didn't he just list his house? Or
No, I don't.
Am I making that up?
Yeah, he's always talking about it.
Oh.
Threatening. He's always threatening to sell it, but I don't think it's on the market yet, or at least I don't know about it.
Like, could you ever see him just eventually saying, "This is my house for life"?
Nope, never.
It's never gonna happen.
He's always gonna move. He's always gonna. I mean, maybe when he's like 80, you know, maybe when he goes to the retirement home, you know, I don't know. He will keep doing this until the end of time.
Do you watch any Bravo like now? Like I know you said the Housewives. Like, do you watch like Vanderpump Rules? Like, do you watch all this?
I watch everything.
You do.
Below Deck is like my favorite show. I watch it with my kids. My kids love it.
This season, I think this past season, the one that's with Sandy, was just so good with Leah and Hannah. It's like I think it's one of the best so far.
I love Below Deck. I also love. I've been on a couple of trips on boats, like catamarans that I've chartered in the Caribbean. And it's just, it feels nothing like those boats, trust me, or those yachts. But it's just, I love watching those locations and the crew and the guests. And it's just, it's so much fun. And of course I watch all the Housewives. What else do I watch? What else is there besides Housewives?
Well, Vanderpump Rules, which is...
Oh, of course I did watch Vanderpump last season. Shaw's, of course. Oh, I'm friends with MJ. Name dropping. She's a dear friend of mine.
Is she?
Yeah, very close. She's awesome. That was hard to watch last season with all that.
It's always hard to me when it's like real, kind of like Jeff and Jenni, like when it's real, true, like real lifelong.
Yeah.
Like even like Stassi and Kristen, although now apparently they're somewhat hanging out. But MJ and Reza kind of got to me too.
It got to me. Well, also just her being a friend of mine and seeing her go through that really, really sucked. It was, I would text her, all the time and be like, ugh. So yeah, but those are the shows. Those are my staples. Those are the ones I watch. And then every once in a while, I'll throw on $1 million listing, It's not I can't wait for it to air like the other ones. Like I can't wait to watch the Beverly Hills.
And Southern Charm just coming back now.
I can't
Southern
wait.
Charm.
I love Southern Charm.
Do you guys know that the holidays are the busiest and most stressful time of the year? Well, this year, I'm calm and cool and collected thanks to Talkspace. Talkspace offers both therapy and psychiatry right from the comfort of my phone. I can reach out to my provider anytime, anywhere. And let's face it, there's a lot of family involved during the holiday season. Well, listen, with Talkspace, I'm able to talk out all my family issues. There's no more need to commute to appointments and miss time at work and line up and wait. It's right from the comfort of your own home or phone from wherever you are. It's mental health care made easy. You just easily sign up online and you get a personalized match with a provider that's right for you. And you don't have to wait for that. That usually happens within 48 hours. As a listener behind the Velvet Rope, you get $100 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/velvet. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/velvet. talkspace.com/velvet to get $100 off your first month. That's right, talkspace.com/velvet. Do you know any of the Beverly Hills Housewives?
No, I don't. I just Teddi Mellencamp through doing her program and her being on our show. And we've had Kyle Richards on our radio show. Her and Jeff are really good friends. I have a friend who's her best friend and just know her through that. But no, there's nobody from Beverly Hills that I'm very, very close with.
Well, you talk about all these gets, and I say get too, but like it must help, that Jeff was on Bravo. Like it must help you guys book these guests.
No, he can't have Bravo talent on. He's got a Bravo ban. So what happened was he was having his Bravo friends on, Jeff Lewis Live on Sirius, and Bravo started to get angry, and I guess he was letting too many, I don't know what he was doing. I think he was letting people peek behind the curtain a little bit too much. And Bravo was like, no more current Bravo talent is allowed on Jeff Lewis Live. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they're starting to loosen that up a little bit because Shannon is coming on. But yeah, he's had a big Bravo ban on the show. And it's not, Jeff Lewis Live isn't a Bravo radio show. It's Radio Andy on Sirius.
Right.
So they don't have any control over Jeff on the radio show, but they have control over their talent that comes on the show. So the talent technically isn't allowed to go on his show.
Oh, I know all about Bravo and working with them to book talent.
Okay. So you get it. Yeah.
I get it. No, because I listened to you guys, and so I remember Jeff saying that at one point that it was like harder for him to book Bravo talent and like talk shit.
Yeah, well, he's a little bit of a shock jock, and he's gonna put it out there. And I think that sometimes, that gets a little risky for people like Bravo. But I think it's fun. Let him on. It just creates more publicity and more interest and more excitement around the show.
Well, tell Jeff I'm not sure that I'm Bravo's favorite person in the world either.
Okay. All right. I'll let him know.
And I agree with you. I don't understand. I think it's not a bad thing when it gets into certain papers and creates headlines.
Yeah.
I don't get
publicity. It's the publicity machine at work at its finest.
But they do have their favorites, and those are the people. But I feel that ex-Bravo people make the best guests.
Yeah, he had, I wasn't there because I was playing hooky. I was with my winery friends on a 7-day bender in Los Olivos, but he had Tamra Judge on, and they had a good show. She gave me some of her CBD products, which are amazing, by the way.
I know Tamra well. I've had her on this show. One of my absolute favorites.
Oh, good.
Tamra brings it.
Yep.
I saw you guys had her on, and you have on Heather McDonald a lot.
Oh, she's a regular. She's a Jeff Lewis Live co-host.
Do you love working Jeff Lewis Live? Like, do you guys just love it? Or you like
love it?
You
love
do.
It is so much fun. It's great because it's so quick. It's an hour-long show. The pace is really fast. There's no, you start the show and you have so much fun for the hour, and then the next thing you know, it's over. And then you get on with your day. And so I love it. I have the best time on that show.
Does Jeff love doing it too?
He loves it. He found his calling. Who would have thought that he would be a radio host?
This is kind of, I think, your guys. I mean, like, you do a lot of things. I think this is kind of your calling.
It's so fun to have it be a part of my repertoire as, in my career. It's so different than everything else I do during the day that it adds such a special layer and interest to my life. I love it. I hope it never goes away.
Did you guys know what you were doing? Like, did you prepare, or you were just like, here we are, we'll figure this out?
We have a system now, a kind of like, what would you say, a schedule, but I think in the beginning it took a minute, and I wasn't, when Jeff first started, I think it took a minute to find its legs, and find its pace and its purpose, and, and it really does have its own identity now. It's a thing,
Who's on your or Jeff's, like, if you could have anyone, or like reasonable, like, okay, like Madonna may not be coming on your show,
right,
like Barack Obama, but like reasonably, like, do you have like a list of like, I really want that person?
Jeff has a list of anybody. I mean, he's, they call him a risky booking. So he loves just having, fun. Here's the thing. Look, he wants to have somebody, or we like to have people, he likes to have somebody with a good sense of humor, playful. We have some very serious shows with, the therapist, Dr. Donna, Judge Lauren Lake, where, he hits some real issues, and it's not every show is, a shit show. Most of them are shit shows. But when we have those really meaningful, deep discussions, those are good too, so who would be a good get? I mean, I honestly think Machine Gun Kelly would be awesome to have. I've already said that, but that's the one that I'm hoping and praying for.
That would be just so interesting. And let's face it, you would have so many questions for him about Megan Fox.
Yeah, and then we would love to have her on. We'd love, we are grateful for anybody who will sit at our table, and have
I get it.
We just laugh our asses off. That's all we do is talk nonsense and laugh our asses off.
Do you find, because I find this, do you find you just sometimes can never predict? Because, I mean, I've had people on where I've been like, listen, come on, sure.
Right.
And then you're like, this is the best show and I thought it was going to be horrible. Does that ever happen? Or the opposite, where you're like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I have so much to say. And then you're just like, does that happen to you guys?
It does and it doesn't. I think that since we have so many repeat guests on, usually he's got like a menagerie of co-hosts that come and that we have on several times. So you kind of know what to expect. You would have to ask him that, because he's had a few people on for first time and only time that, his experience is probably different than what I've heard on the radio. But no, so far so good. I know he had a guy on early on the radio show who was a little condescending to him. And here's the thing. I'm not sure about him and straight guys. I don't know. We have Tom Arnold on a lot, and he's really fun and great. But there've been like a couple of straight guy actors where I think they don't necessarily get him or get his teasing and his humor. But for the most part, everyone's been delightful and fun. And it is just a laugh attack, Listen, it's a great show. Everyone who's not listening to it needs to listen to it. It is so much fun.
Do you miss being on TV? Does Jeff miss being on TV?
No, I mean, I think that it was such a great gig for him, flipping out. I think he does miss it. I would have, if I had to venture to guess, if I asked him tomorrow, do you miss flipping out? I think his answer would be yes.
How did you find out? I assume Jeff got a call, or just...
You know what? I don't think he even got a call. I think it just kind of, he didn't hear from anybody. And just had to assume it's over. I'm not sure. I think he's probably since, when enough time went by, he probably talked to some of the higher ups at some point, and they're like, well, it's not happening right now. And, I don't think he didn't get I don't feel like he got a firm clip, you're gonzo. So who knows?
That's how it is with Housewives. You just
don't know. Yeah.
Never hear from them.
Yeah. I hope it comes back, or some version of it comes back or something. Cause he is fun to watch.
But the radio show, I'm telling you, I think this is your guys' calling.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. It's nice to hear that. And like I said, we do love it. And I know he loves it. And I just hope it continues on and on and on.
I think it's going to. And you have Shannon coming up. So that's a good one.
Yes. I'm so excited for that.
Is there anything else you want to leave us with? Megan Weaver Design is doing well. Jeff Lewis Live is doing well.
Doing great. You can listen to Jeff Lewis Live on Sirius XM channel 102, Radio Andy, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific. And then if you wanted to reach me for any kind of design work, you could always DM me at Megan Catalina. And that's it.
You have been great. Thank you for entertaining all of my flipping out questions.
You got it. That was fun.
You're amazing. Tell Jeff I said hello.
I shall.
I'll be listening, and we will keep in touch. I really appreciate you taking your time.
You got it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Megan. I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to yet another episode of Behind the Velvet Rope. Because without you listeners, I would just be a crazy person with voices in my head. And if you like what you hear, subscribe on Apple Podcasts under Behind the Velvet Rope. And when you're done subscribing, feel free to leave a 5-star write-up review. because the write-up reviews actually count. We read each and every one of them. We post the best ones, and the reviews really help our shows keep going, and we really appreciate everything you guys say, especially the positive ones. And if you want to find us online, we're at Behind Velvet Rope on Instagram. We are at David Yontef on Instagram. We're Behind the Velvet Rope on Apple Podcasts. Or head on over to Patreon, because you know what? There are just some things we can't talk about here. So for our bonus episodes, go to Patreon and type in Behind the Velvet Rope. And if you still aren't sick of me and you want more David, go to Cameo and book me on Cameo. And you can ask me anything there. I'll answer whatever you want. And I have a bargain basement price of $10. Thank you guys. See you soon.